Cadillac?
You know, people have hang-ups about money that I don't have. And I'm not any more in love with money than anybody else. It's just that I'm not a hypocrite about money. And I find out that people are just such hypocrites about money. For example, like preachers who get up and say how evil and dirty and filthy money is, and then proceed to try to raise it and to take it up in church. I love money, and money loves me. And you know, it was the Apostle Paul who said that the love of money is the root of all evil. But I came along and corrected the Apostle Paul. It's the lack of money that is the root of all evil. And I've seen the lack of money hurt people more than the love of money.
But you certainly have seen the love of money cause many people, downfall of many people to go awry and have many a fault and problem with
This is
money.
true because, you see, there's a difference. It's all right to have money, but don't let money have you. When you let money possess you, then you're in trouble. But as long as you possess money, and I teach people to understand that I am the master of money. Money is not the master of me. I use money, but I do not permit money to use me.
How do you use money, Reverend?
I use money for good purposes, and people in general need money for good purposes.
And what are the good purposes?
There is no good purpose. For example, I'm in the business of preaching and teaching positive self-awareness, positive self-motivation. I teach people that if they believe in themselves correctly and positively, they can be what they want to be, do what they want to do, and have what they want to have right here, right now.
Do you believe then in the hereafter?
I believe in the here and the now. I'm not preaching about the sweet by and by. Too many people are waiting for pie in the sky by and by when they die. I believe that heaven begins now, but it does not end now. And whatever is going to happen in the hereafter, if a person develops himself and does all the good that he can here and now, whatever comes later will be even better.
Well, let me get it straight. Do you believe in the hereafter or do you not?
I believe in the eternal now. That's what I call it.
You believe in living for today?
I believe in the eternal now. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow never comes. I must live today. I believe that it is the responsibility of each individual to make the most of himself right here, right now, and whatever comes later will be better.
Then why do you get linked with money so much? What you're saying right now is a very good and very honest approach to religion. Doing good, but you're tied up with money all the time.
Yes, I think I'm linked with money simply because I'm the least hypocritical minister about money. As I say, other ministers may say that it's dirty and that it's filthy. I say that money is good stuff. I say that it is wonderful stuff. I have the gall to say that publicly.
Shouldn't a minister be more concerned with the spiritual qualities of life rather than the material and financial qualities of life, though? Isn't that your calling?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, money is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And to me, money is more than dollars and cents. To me, money is the getting power of self-awareness. In the marketplace of life, a person always gets that which belongs to his self-awareness, to his self-image. And I call the riches of life health, happiness, love, success, and prosperity. And when a person establishes in his mind an image of himself being healthy, being happy, being loving and beloved, and being successful and prosperous, this will cause the riches of life to gravitate to him. This will motivate him to go out and to make his life rich in every way. And in this way, he will also enrich society.
But the riches of life, Reverend Ike, do not pertain particularly to money.
Well, notice...
And you can be a very rich person without having much money and be a good citizen and a good religious person.
But notice the order in which I list the riches of life: health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money.
But somehow...
But mostly people start with the money thing, just like you. You haven't gotten off of the money yet.
That's right.
I haven't
Because
gotten you to the
so
health, the happiness, the love yet.
Because you're so identified with raising money, and you say yourself, don't give me any coins, they make noise. Just put that soft stuff in the dollar bills in the collection.
That's true. My church is not a 5 and 10 cent store.
So you do emphasize money.
And the Lord's business should be first class, and I operate the Lord's business on a first class basis.
See, now you're the one who has a hang-up about money.
Oh, no, I don't have any hang-ups about it.
Because you're talking about money.
I'm using it in wonderful ways. And let me say this, I'm glad I am motivating people. You know, I get a lot of people off of welfare.
Good.
And because I say this, that welfare has its place, but don't make it a resting place. And I think that we have given people the idea too much that society owes them something. The individual owes it to himself to become self-sufficient, to become self-responsible, self-directed, and self-disciplined. And this is what I'm teaching people. And you see, it costs me millions of dollars a year to get on radio and television, to tell people, look, I mean, don't wait for the president or the governor or the mayor to give you handouts. Believe in yourself. Believe in the God within you, and you can make your own way, and you won't have to sit around and depend on handouts. And to preach this kind of gospel, if you please, because this is my gospel, it's very expensive.
See, there we get back to money now.
And
That's why you have
absolutely,
to raise the
it
money.
only goes to show you, regardless of what you do, it costs money. My church in New York City is, in effect, a television studio. It took, for example, $250,000 of extra air conditioning when we installed our television lights in the church. Our church building there in New York occupies 1 square block. We have invested over $2 million in it. We have coated the walls with new gold. People say to me, Reverend Ike, why is it that you've put this much money into the church building? And I do it for a certain reason. When people walk into the midst of all of this affluence and this opulence and this luxury, it magnetizes their consciousness, if you please, for wealth and prosperity.
Doesn't it turn people off, though, to see in the church with such opulence?
It
which
turns
is contrary
people off
to...
who have what I call a money rejection complex. And there is a very deep money rejection complex in the world, and even in this nation. When Rockefeller was nominated for vice president, on the national level, we saw the money rejection complex at its height. A lot of people objected to Rockefeller for one reason, his money. And then they began to find out how much money he had given away, and they began to criticize him for that. Finally, it sort of dawned on these people, well, look, the only criticism we have of this man is the fact that he has a lot of money, and he's given a lot of it away. And here again, people who are truly wealthy, they give a lot away. I myself have no personal estate.
I think the ejection of Rockefeller was, by those who did object, I don't know who they are, but they came from the fear of his power due to his money. That was more of the resentment of Rockefeller.
But there is one comfort in that. At least nobody could buy him with dollars and cents.
Yes, but who could he buy with his dollars and cents? That's the concern.
So
And that is the concern we have about you, Reverend Ike.
Well, I don't buy anybody. The only thing that I'm trying to do is to convert the individual to believe in himself. I never ask anybody to join my church, for example. The only thing that I'm doing is trying to attempt to convert the individual to believe in the power of God within himself, so that he can become self-sufficient and a self-responsible member of society.
Well, that's what religion should do. It should motivate people, and you should be commended for that. But don't...
Prosperity right now. How many of you would like to have all of the goodness of life? All right, here's the way it's done. If you want to experience the goodness of life, you must believe in the nowness of life. You must get rid of that pie in the sky, by and by when you die attitude. You must get rid even of that someday attitude. I've been hearing people sing that song, I'll be all right someday. But that's not good enough, because when is someday? Now, I've never heard...
That was you, Reverend Knight. You recognized that person, didn't you?
Yes, from Madison Square Garden. That was my very first television program that I did from Madison Square Garden.
You seem to have a lot of poise, and you could be a very successful television performer.
I am.
Very well. You make a promise in that little thing which we just heard about success and prosperity right now. Now, isn't that holding out a little bit too much for the people to expect success and prosperity right now?
Well, if people's
As if
minds...
you can give it to them by joining Reverend Ike that you'll be successful.
No, this isn't what I say. I don't say join Reverend Ike.
Well...
I say believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in the power and the presence of God within you. And if people can be conditioned to failure, which a lot of people are, they can be conditioned to success. And as a matter of fact, I'm proving this in my ministry, because here again, my ministry may be described as a process whereby people are conditioned and reconditioned for health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. And I'm in the business of positively conditioning people's minds for success. And I make no apology for saying to people, look, if you believe in yourself positively and correctly, you can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do, and you can have what you want to have.
How do you do that?
By first of all, believing that I have it within myself. God dwells in me, whatever you want to call God, whatever divinity is, this is within me. And if I open my mind, first of all, to the idea of success, I will be motivated and I will be led to do those things which will make me successful. I will be led to, for example, prepare myself educationally and otherwise to be what I want to be and to do what I want to do.
Do you urge people to strive for education, to improve their minds, to open their minds for improvement of the physical body and to improve their wherewithal in our society?
Absolutely, but it must begin with the person opening his mind to the possibility of success, to the possibility of happiness. I've discovered that so many people's minds are closed to the possibility of success, to the possibility of happiness. And so the first thing that you have to do is get that person's mind open so that he accepts the idea that I can be successful, I can be happy, I can be loving and beloved. And it is the nature of the mind to draw unto itself and to draw into the person's experience that which it is open to. And this causes the person to be motivated to cooperate with the positive ideas that comes to him from the ideas that he opens his mind to.
What about education now? Do you do anything in the field of education? Do you sponsor any schools or any classes or anything in that department?
Our church in New York, for example, is a school. This is why we call it, and its corporate name is United Church Science of Living Institute, because we teach people the science of living, the art of living. We teach people how to live correctly and positively, how to live a happy and successful life. We are not, by the way, as many churches do, we do not prepare people to die. We prepare people to live. For example, at the Science of Living Institute in New York, we teach a course even in the business of living, which teaches people how to handle their personal finances to their best advantage. We teach self-motivation courses. We even teach kids how to get jobs making television commercials. I remember one young boy who's at the church. When he was 9 years old, he wrote me a letter and said, "Dear Reverend Ike, I want to be able to make television commercials so that I can buy myself some clothes and buy my mother a new house." And he went for an interview for a television commercial, and he got the job. And just the other day bought his mother a brand new house in Teaneck, New Jersey. And very beautiful young fellow who is now 12 years of age. And we have a lot of kids at our church who are doing television commercials and making a lot of money. And a lot of people we encourage to open their own businesses. Here in Chicago and in different places we go all over the country, people come to me in our fellowship meetings and say to me, "Reverend Ike, I was out of a job when I first started writing to you and getting your success ideas. Now I've opened my own business." We educate also through the mail. We have correspondence courses in what I call success ideas, teaching people that they can be and do and have if they open their minds to it and if they're willing to work. You see, I believe in work. I don't believe that society owes it to anybody to just give them handouts and encourage them to be nothing, do nothing, and have nothing.
Let's pause here for just a moment. A lot of people sit there and look at Reverend Ike and they see the magnificence of your apparel and the jewelry and the 16 Rolls Royces and the air-conditioned television studio, which is practically a church. And they say, why is Reverend Ike not more like Martin Luther King Jr.? Can you explain the difference in the philosophy between you and the late Dr. King?
Well, first of all, Dr. King is one of the greatest men who ever lived. And he did a job in his day that is magnificent. He got a lot of opportunities open for blacks in particular and other minorities. But you see, after the doors are opened, people must be motivated to walk through those doors. And you see, this is where I come in. I say to people, now the doors are open. You have an opportunity to do things that you never had an opportunity to do before. But you must be motivated. You must believe in yourself so that you can earn the wherewithal to enjoy the things that Dr. Martin Luther King made possible for you to enjoy. The fact that blacks can register at hotels on Miami Beach and in any area in the United States is of no value to them unless they have the money. You see, we can't get away from the money thing unless they have the money to enjoy these things. And so I come in with the positive self-awareness and with the self-motivation to teach people how to get the wherewithal to enjoy the things that institutions like the NAACP and Dr. Martin Luther King has made possible for them to
Yours sounds
enjoy.
like a ministry of the finances, though, Reverend.
It is.
If you don't mind saying so.
I don't mind you saying
Instead
that.
of
And by
saying
the
a
way,
ministry of the spirit.
let
and
me
the
say
spiritual,
this,
I
you know,
should say.
to the everlasting credit of our Caucasian brethren, they have had more positive self-awareness teaching and positive self-motivation teaching than blacks. Blacks, as an ethnic group, have had less positive self-awareness and positive self-motivation teaching than any other group. The whites have had their Norman Vincent Peales, their Dale Carnegies, and their W. Clement Stones to teach them motivation and positive self-awareness, but blacks haven't. And this is really my ministry. And of course, I not only teach this to blacks, this is cosmic principle. This applies to anyone. The Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. In other words, if you believe in yourself, you can make it. If you do not believe in yourself and motivate yourself, you won't make it. And it doesn't matter whether you're black or white.
Yeah, but
and to me, you
difference,
see, the Bible, to get on the religious thing that you've been questioning me about, to me, the Bible is not a book of theology, but a book of psychology. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The Apostle Paul also said, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. A person must change his self-image. He must change his motivation if he is to succeed and to get anywhere in life. And one of the big mistakes of the sociologists and the bureaucrats in Washington is the fact that they've tried to give the minorities better things without first giving them a better idea of themselves. You cannot give people better things until you first give them a better idea of themselves. And that's my ministry, to give the minorities, and not only the minorities, but people in general who want to experience the joy of living, a better idea of themselves. And this is what I'm spending the millions that are given to me to do, to give people a better idea of themselves.
Just a brief remark that the Bible would emphasize the spirit rather than the financial, because the Bible points out that the money, as we pointed out before, is the root of all evil, and also that...
the Apostle Paul said that,
Yeah.
and the Apostle Paul had two hang-ups. He had a hang-up about money and about women. I don't have a hang-up about either.
You're
And
sure?
I corrected the Apostle Paul. It is the lack of money that is the root of all evil. But the Bible also says, seek you first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Which to me means that when the person finds the God within himself, when the person finds the spirit within himself, then he will be motivated to gain the material things that he needs.
Why do you have to be motivated to gain material things?
That's the way spirit works. Spirit always manifests
You
itself.
emphasize material so much that people get a little dubious about the real ministry if you're going to emphasize material things.
Well, as long as you keep it
the
in
greatest
balance,
people
it
in
is
the
the
world
balance.
are not those with material
No,
things.
it is the balance that you have to keep. I have money, but money does not have me. I am the master of money, but money is not the master of me.
Reverend,
And I keep that balance. And having money has not made me any worse. People have said to me, Reverend Ike, if I had more money, maybe I wouldn't love the Lord as much. But you know, I remember when I went to high school, and lunch was 7 cents a day, and I didn't have the 7 cents. And that scripture, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, didn't mean very much to me. But when I got the money so that when I was hungry, I could eat and I could have a nice place to live, I love the Lord a whole lot better. I'll tell you, I love the Lord a lot better when I have the money to pay my bills and meet my needs.
that's a very good approach, I must say. Reverend, one little point now. Your biography says you were graduated from the American Bible School in Chicago with a degree in Bachelor of Theology.
The school that I attended in New York was an affiliate of the American Bible College here in Chicago.
Because I went through the whole file here trying to find out, well, I never heard of the American Bible
Yes.
School before.
Well, it was it is
and
now
it doesn't exist,
the school
apparently.
is now located in Florida.
And what is it, a correspondence school?
No, the school that I went to in New York, I don't say, let me explain this. I do not say very much about the religious institutions that I attended simply because I no longer hold their views, and I do not think it's fair for me to identify myself with the theological seminaries.
That's
that
not
I
a Freudian
attended.
slip because I've heard you use that before.
Yes, that I attended because our views simply do not represent each other anymore.
You think you're more with it?
Absolutely. I found the God within me. You see, in the theological cemeteries, we're taught about the theological seminaries, we're taught about the God in the sky. We're taught about the sweet by and by. But now
Not
I have found the
necessarily.
God in
No.
me.
All religions don't teach us about the sweet by and by, and those who do hope that you lead a good life on this world so that you'll be qualified to enter the by and by that you're talking about.
But I'll tell you
many
one
religions preach live today and make today as happy as you possibly can.
There are a lot of
not worry
people
about the
who
future.
believe in the sweet by and by, and unfortunately too many blacks are still being fed this theology about the sweet by and by. You know, it doesn't matter how you're living now, as long as you get to heaven when you die. And you see, the white folks taught them that when they first came over as slaves. You know, be good now, and you'll get your pie in the sky by and by when you die. But the white folks never believed that in the first place, but the colored folks took it seriously, and they still are. And I'm having to get them out of that sweet by and by, pie in the sky type of theology.
So you think a sort of a racial discrimination has entered into the theology of the country as well as in other segments of our society?
Well, a lot of white people believe in pie in the sky by and by when you die also, but to the everlasting credit of the Caucasian people, they never took it as seriously as the black people.
Reverend Ike, where do you differ from a Reverend Billy Graham or Reverend Billy Hargis or any of the other great evangelists of our country today?
I differ.
I don't even know if Billy Hargis represents that era today anymore because he's somewhat of a...
Well, I cannot speak for anyone else, and I wouldn't attempt to do so. However, I can say that the major difference of my evangelistic ministry is that I am not attempting to herd the masses into the folds of organized religion. I am not trying to get people to join a church. I'm not trying to convert people to any particular theology. I'm only attempting to convert people to believe in the God that is within them, to believe in their own possibilities, and to make the most of their lives right here, right now. That's the major difference.
Do you have